tension. It is definitely one of those things that can hold riders back from achieving what they want when it comes to working with their horse. However, tension is absolutely essential. Like, you need tension, so does your horse. Without it, you'd both fall over. It's managing it and getting the right tension levels that makes all the difference. And that's what we're going to dive into today. Okay, let's go. Hey there, and welcome to the Daily Strides podcast. My name is Lorna Leeson. I'm an equestrian trainer and coach, and I work with riders from all over the world to help them to, I suppose, understand themselves a little better so that then they can go and work with their horses a little better as well. And of course, I love working with riders who don't work regularly with a trainer, an instructor, a coach. We're kind of doing it alone. They're my type of riders. They're the riders that I love working with. And today I want to talk about this tension because I know that for many riders, their tension levels can get stuck on high every now and then, okay? And this is true for certain specific things that they do with their horse, okay? So maybe it is when they think about cantering, okay? The tension just goes and it's like stuck on high and now they can't get off that, okay? Or maybe it is just throughout the ride, it continues to build and build and build, and riders don't have the knowledge or the know-how to actually dissipate, to let that tension just kind of move through them to flow, so it becomes very stuck. Now, this does not just pertain to riding, of course. This happens on the ground, it happens doing groundwork, lunging, all the things. But what is really important to understand is that if you are struggling with tension, if you've either built up this negative association with tension, or if you are finding that you, like I said, get stuck on high, okay, that is something that has to be worked on, because at the end of the day, relaxation as it pertains to horses, okay, which just means managing tension levels. It does not mean lying horizontal with a beverage, okay? So managing tension levels, when you begin working with your horse, relaxation is just as important for you as it is for your horse. So we need to learn how to manage our own tension levels and then show up with the correct level of tension for the job that we're doing in order to help our horse, okay? So I think it's really important that if you have fallen into a bit of a habit of, letting the old tension get stuck on high, starting on the ground is actually a great place to start. And especially when we're talking about rider tension, okay? Because rider tension is absolutely essential. It's actually what keeps you upright in the saddle. If you did not have tension, you would just fall down like a rag doll, okay? You need tension. It's absolutely 100% essential for you and your horse to work together. The problem is when it becomes a little bit stuck, when it becomes too much. And this is especially true for many riders through their hands, their shoulders, their seat, their hips, their knees, their jaw, okay? There's lots of areas in your body where you can hold tension. And when you hold excess tension, your horse can feel that. And this is true whether you're riding or you're on the ground, okay? Your horse is going to be able to feel it because physically that excess tension causes you to block energy. The energy does not flow anymore. And what's really interesting is that even though it's actually a physical block through your body because there's physically too much tension through your body, it's also very often an emotional and a mental block as well, okay? Your thoughts become blocked. Your feelings become blocked. It's like you get stuck on a place where you don't want to be stuck on, a place that's not helpful for the thing you want to be doing, okay? So it is important. And what many riders then, once this is kind of maybe shown to them, when they become aware of it, they begin to see this parallel between themselves and their horse. Because at the end of the day, your horse is going to mirror things back to you, okay? Now, what is important is that you can begin to see, to notice the correlation between maybe excessive tension in your body and then excessive tension in your horse's body, okay? And with your horse, this excessive tension could show up as anxiety, rushing, pulling, bracing, being choppy, when you're on the sewing machine, a hollow back, okay? Or just a general lack of focus. You know, when you're on a horse who has absolutely no interest in what you're doing, but is far more interested in the thing over there, okay? Whatever the thing is that they may have seen a million times before, but now it's suddenly fascinating and they are not at all interested in you. When you and your horse can learn to manage the tension levels between the two of you and manage them effectively, the two of you are going to be on the same page. You're going to be able to move forward together to actually work on things together. And that's just a great way of working with your horse. Okay, so how do we begin resetting the tension levels, okay? I think it's first important to understand that when you are able to kind of clearly and quickly identify areas in your body where you're holding excess tension, you can then begin to identify ways that you can let that go, okay? That you can dissipate that excessive tension quickly but gently, okay? So we need to begin to figure out, hold on, I feel that I'm holding this tension here. I can feel it now. I've noticed it. Because once you can begin to do that, that's then the kind of turning point where you can say, okay, it's there. Okay, what can we now do about it? So many riders don't even know it's there. They don't know how it feels through their body. And this is why I really do think getting off the horse, getting onto the ground and working with your horse on the ground is really important to figure this stuff out initially, okay? You need to really become aware of your body. I know, and it sounds like so silly, but you're in your body all the time, 24/7, okay? You're constantly in your body. So it makes sense that you may begin to miss things about your own body, which sounds really strange, but you know, we become so used to it. It becomes so mundane. It becomes like, yeah, well, this is my body. This is how it feels. No, I want you to really, really get into it, like to become curious about how things feel inside of your body. And I'm talking about physical feelings now, okay? We need to be able to notice this. The final thing I want to say before we go forward is you may have experienced this. I have. I've been on both sides of this actually, where there's definitely excessive tension, okay? And whether it's in my body or I notice it in another rider and a rider I'm working with, and you can just see it's sky high, it's stuck on high, it's there, you can feel it, you can see it. And then when somebody tells you to calm down or relax, just relax. And you're thinking, well, if I could relax, I would relax. I can't relax, okay? I can't calm down. So I think that maybe if you've had that in the past, people have told you to relax or calm down, okay? That would be a good indicator that maybe you're carrying a little bit too much tension at certain points in your ride. But yeah, it doesn't work to do it that way. The way to really begin to actually achieve that relaxation or that lowering, that calming down, okay, is through actually becoming aware of how it feels in your body, physically feels in your body at that point in time. And then you can do something about it. Okay, so we're going to start with finding neutral. And when you're working with your horse, I think this is really important. We need to know what neutral feels like. Like when you're riding, we're not talking about this today, but I'll just use it as an example. When you're riding, you can use your seat for really kind of 3 different things, okay? You can use it in 3 different ways. Now, I know I'm really simplifying things here, but bear with me, okay? So with your seat, you can have neutral, yeah? So that's where you're just with your horse. You're almost like following, you're allowing, you're just letting it go, okay? You're moving with your horse. It's almost like you're letting your horse move you, yeah? You're there, you're very passive, you're not doing anything. So you can have neutral, you can have go with your seat, so you can drive with your seat, or you can have whoa with your seat. You can resist through your seat, okay? Now, I want you to begin finding neutral in your body. So neutral is not resistance. And it's also not like activity and going and going and going and going and going. This like, ooh, go, 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 go. It's neither of those things. It's neutral. Okay, it's the happy place in the middle. We need to begin to find that if we're going to reset those tension levels. You need to begin to understand how neutral And true neutral, I'm going to talk now like proper neutral, TRUE, neutral, okay? How that really feels in your body, okay? And this is especially if you have a habit of like going from 0 to 60 like that when something happens that you don't want to happen, okay? So yeah, we need to figure it out. So what I'm going to suggest you do is, first of all, go close to your horse. Now, if being very close to your horse causes you anxiety, it causes those owl tension levels to begin to rise, okay? Step back, go outside the paddock, go outside the stable, stand behind the gate. There's no problem, okay? You don't have to be tight beside your horse. Go where you can truly be neutral. And what I'm going to suggest you do is I want you to stand, obviously. And wherever you are right now, you can do this. You can practice this. Don't close your eyes if you're driving, obviously, but you can practice this. I want you to really begin to think about how your body feels when you're alert, you're focused, you've engaged through your core, okay? So you're holding yourself. You can feel that there's a certain level of tension required to keep you upright. Yeah, you got that? And then just really feeling that, okay? So you're maintaining the rhythm, you're maintaining the flow. If you're just standing still, this will be through your breath. If you're driving, it'll be through the movements that you're doing, maybe with pedals, maybe with a gear stick, maybe with the steering wheel. It's flowing, okay? But you're maintaining this lovely neutral. You're interacting with whatever is around you, but not in a way that is hurried, not in a way that's causing any sort of stress or strain or kind of upping the levels to high. We are keeping everything wonderful. And I just want you then to kind of notice down through your body. Now, where I always feel this is when I really get into the nitty gritty, I'm actually kind of carrying my shoulders. It almost feels like my shoulders are maybe a little bit closer to my ears than they could be, okay? So I can actually drop. I can let that tension fall through my shoulders, okay? I can bring it down. I can physically drop the tension level through my shoulders and feel how that feels. Okay, that feels different. And then think about your jaw. And maybe you're actually holding, I want you to like intentionally now relax your jaw. I don't want you now looking like a goldfish, okay? Well, let's not be walking around with open mouths. But I do want you just through kind of your jaw, just to relax that tension. Lovely. And then the final thing I'm going to get you to do, I'm going to assume if you're driving, you're sitting down. So just what you can do this exercise. If you're standing, just spend time there focusing on your feet. Let your intention, let your awareness just drop down there now to your feet, how it feels on the ground. How do your feet, can you feel them like planted on the ground? Are you kind of holding or distributing your weight equally over both feet? Or is one foot holding maybe a little bit more or carrying a little bit more than the other? Just noticing that. And then finally, noticing through your fingertips. And you can do this whether you're driving or you're standing. I find it really interesting that when I bring my awareness to my fingertips, they kind of tingle a little bit, okay? And you can feel this awareness through your fingertips. Okay, lovely. So once you've brought this awareness, and let's just like kind of sink into this for a moment. Let's just get clear with this for a moment. Let's just feel how it feels to let the shoulders just to drop, to let the jaw relax, to breathe deeply, to just be in your body. And this is where you want to be able to go back to every time you feel that your tension levels are becoming a little bit too high. Now, it is going to require you to practice this, obviously, to get it right, that when you're riding, you can also bring yourself back to here. But I do suggest practicing this on the ground, okay? Now, what do I mean on the ground? I really think that if you can begin to really work on this when you're getting your horse ready to ride, okay? So when you're tacking up, when you're grooming, when you're walking to the arena, okay? All of these things, when you can begin to really intentionally continue to reset, to bring things back, like bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, okay? You're going to be able to do this much more quickly than when you're in the saddle. And what I would suggest doing is later when you're riding, I want you to do the same exercise, but you're going to do it actually in the saddle, which will feel a bit like driving, I suppose, okay? So you're going to do it, but like really then when you're in the saddle, connect through to your seat bones, like feel your seat bones, feel that connection with the saddle, with the horse's back. Like if you're doing this at walk, really feel it, feel neutral. And as I said, neutral really feels that your horse, when you think of neutral through the seat, it's like your horse is moving you, that you're just letting yourself, you're almost like a piece of clothing on a washing line and the wind is moving it. Okay, that's how it's going to feel. You want to be lovely, but you want that still that self-carriage, that's the tension, the correct level of tension through your body, so that your shoulders are still carrying yourself. Okay, you're still carrying yourself, but your shoulders aren't around your ears. Drop the shoulders, like kind of just unpeel them there from your ears a little bit. Okay, lovely. What I would then begin doing is that when you're tacking up, grooming, bringing your horse out, you're beginning to actually imagine yourself in the saddle physically. Now, you know where a great place to do this is actually driving. When you are if you drive, I'm making a big assumption here now, but if you drive, or even if you're the passenger in a car, okay, or in a vehicle, this can feel really good when you're imagining you're on your horse. And just imagine, I know it might be a bit weird now if you're driving with somebody else in the car, but if you can get in on your own, okay? And you're really just imagining that kind of sitting up. Don't lean against the seat behind you, okay? So you're sitting up, you're there, you're holding yourself, you're carrying yourself, you're unpeeling the shoulders, you're letting the elbows fall down underneath the shoulders, okay? So your elbows are just falling down. Your hands are, if they're on the steering wheel, great. If they're just in front of you, if you're a passenger, you're just pretending all of this. And then imagining yourself actually riding and noticing, like, when you begin thinking through different scenarios, so maybe it's cantering or maybe it's trotting, I don't know what it is, okay? But when you're thinking through different things, maybe you're finding that your tension levels now begin to increase. Like what kind of gets things going for you. And bear in mind that when you ride, your tension levels are all the time up and down. Like they're constantly having to change, because that's what's riding about. You, like when you ask different questions, your tension levels will have to change in order to ask the question, allow the question to happen, like allow the answer to happen, okay? You have to change this. But what is important is that you can constantly bring it back. You can constantly soften through your body and just and let it out, okay? I really find an exhale works really, really well as well, okay? So spend time practicing this. Maybe it's your lower back that becomes stiff. It could be your wrists, okay? A lot of riders carry tension through their wrists, and it'll look fine until they're asked to do something that they're not 100% comfortable with. So maybe it's trotting without stirrups, or it's asking for canter, okay? And what you'll often find is that their wrist becomes like a claw, for want of a better word, but it becomes like a hook. They're like Captain Hook, and their wrists become like twisted, okay? They lose that lovely flowing line from their elbow down through the thumb, down through the rein, okay, to connect with the horse. They're losing that, and it becomes this, like, I want to say a lightning bolt, but like it's like this very broken looking line, because their wrists kind of curl back in. It's almost like their thumbs, instead of pointing to the horse's mouth, their thumbs begin pointing back into themselves, okay? So when that's happening, you can see the energy is broken, the flow of energy is broken. So it's really, really important to understand that about yourself, and then through those times be able to say, whoa, unfold. Just like I said, like unfolding your shoulders from your ears, you want to now unfold your wrists. Okay, let's just relax, a little bit of loosey-goosey again, and then just practicing over and over and over and over and over again. Now, I also think that grounding before each ride is really, really important, okay? And I would urge all riders to kind of learn how to reset themselves when on the ground, like learn how to ground themselves when they're with their horse, when they're on the ground, okay? And just becoming really, really intentional about that, and using that time that they're grounding to actually set an intention for the ride. It's all well and good writing things out and saying, okay, I'm going to work on XYZ today. But when you spend the time visualizing it and really like getting into it and connecting with it before the ride, it has the potential to transform the ride for you and your horse, okay? When you know how your body responds with the amount of tension to each individual thing that you're going to do with your horse, how it feels inside of your body, you can then begin to prepare better for that, okay? You need to allow relaxation in your own body. And again, relaxation, when we're talking horses, is not like how we would see relaxation, you know, lying horizontal with a beverage. That is not relaxation. Relaxation is the management of the energy and the flow of the energy and the tension through your body, that being able to manage that. That's what relaxation, true relaxation is. So it's important to understand that and to begin applying it to yourself. But again, I'm going to suggest that if yours has a habit of going high and getting stuck there, practice on the ground. You need to practice this on the ground. If you're interested in finding out more about this and actually going through a grounding exercise and all that fun stuff, you can join me on my upcoming new webinar. It's about the energy connection between you and your horse and how to really begin to use that for both of your advantage. I'm really looking forward to it. All the details are over at stridesforsuccess.com/energy. You can find the details there. And yeah, join me for it. Walk away with the few exercises that you can begin practicing immediately. You can begin doing it right away and see the change. And this is helpful for all riders, regardless of what you're up to with your horse. Now, I really wanted the webinar to help riders who maybe are struggling a bit with confidence, riders who tend to, as I said, go on high and get stuck on high. Hey, I've been there. I have been there. So that's how I know, okay? But then also riders who are coming back to riding after a break. I think this would be really helpful as well. It's all on the ground. It's groundwork based. It's not riding based. It's all groundwork based. So you can find all the details over at stridesforsuccess.com/energy. You can even just scroll down wherever you're listening to this right now and sign up today, immediately. I would love to have you there. I think we're going to have so much fun together. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Have a super week. Keep well, and I'll chat to you soon. Be good. Bye.